So I thought people didn't really like these. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sneaker Circle. It is your boy Danny back with another review, and in today's video, I'm going to be covering the latest collaboration between Nike and Tiffany Co. Dubbed the 1837s, this is Tiffany's first real Nike collaboration. Now, for the old heads out there, I know we have the Diamonds, we have the Tiffany's, the Nike SBs from 06, the Retro from like 2010 or 2009. Oh no, I think the high top was in 2011. And then all the other colorways that followed after that. That is with a completely different company. I'm gonna get into that later into the video, but for now, let's just unbox these and get this video started. All right, so shoes are out of the box. Very nice presentation, very good. But again, this is a $400 retail sneaker. So let's start off with how I got these. This is not my pair. This is a buddy of mine's pair who won a raffle down here in Miami. Now, it was wild seeing how many stores were actually getting this sneaker specifically. It almost felt like too many retailers were getting them. But I wouldn't be surprised if retailers only had like a handful of sizes. So getting a raffle win, it's crazy, 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 crazy. I didn't hit on Nike, sneakers, Tiffany. None of the places really, gave me that dub. But I'm glad, I have my hands on a pair and I get to review them. Now I want to answer one basic question. Are these worth it? Now I'm gonna look at it from two angles. Are they worth that $400 retail? And are they worth the current resale, which I think hovers around $900 to $1,000? So starting off, you do have this Tiffany blue box. Now it isn't like the regular Nike boxes that we see. This one actually has the Pantone of that Tiffany blue, and it's a lot thinner and a lot more, in my opinion, flimsy. So you can see this box is kind of beat up. I've noticed that a lot of retail wins I get from stores down here, the boxes are beat. Boxes are really beat. So, it matches with the Miami-esque nature of it all. This is a size 8, Tiffany blue everywhere, and you do have this little like engraved pattern where it's a T and then it's a swoosh. It's a really nice subtle detail that you really can't see unless you're like up close to it. Here we have the size tag. It also has that 1837 right on it. And I know a lot of people didn't like these because they thought it was a really lazy collaboration between the two giant companies. On the inside, you're met with actual newspaper clippings. So it feels like a combination between old Air Force 1 ads and actual Tiffany Co ads. It's a really nice touch. All right, let's get this out of the way and let's focus solely on shoes. So from what I remember reading on sneakers and on Tiffany's website, the triple black Air Force 1 is supposed to signify New York, Black Force energy, I kind of get it, but it has touches of a bit of like elegance. And it's really weird because Tiffany Co is an LVMH sub company at this point. So that's the parent company that kind of owns all the other, really popular brands. We've seen Dior, we've seen LV. Those are the two most recent, if the only, luxury brands that actually collaborate with Nike. Those being incredibly hard to get, and then these being, a little more readily available instead of just being on, that brand's website. So we're greeted with this like crazy, I'm in love with this suede. So first thoughts, you open the box, you get hit with this smell of leather. I don't know if it's the leather, I don't know if it's the suede, but it doesn't have a chemical smell to it the way the Casina Air Maxes did last year. It has more of a it's a little more refined, and that feels so bougie to say. Besides the smell, that suede is amazing. You can just brush it, really responsive. It's really plush suede. It's better than any recent Jordan I've had, recent Air Max, Air Force, anything I've seen from Nike. It kind of reminds me of what Air Jordan tried to do with the Pinnacle series a couple years ago, but done to like a better extent. I can kind of see why stores didn't use their own pictures for these, because It's kind of like if you don't have it brushed a certain way, it looks a little ashy. But like when you have it brushed the right way, it's like a perfect suede couch. And that's like really rare to say. Suede from Nike these days really isn't brushable. And this is a short grain suede, so that's like, it's really nice. Besides that, another little detail you have is the piping around the entire sneaker. It's leather coated, so it doesn't really have that raw edge that most leather cuts or suedes have. It feels like those little details that really like hone in the sneaker. Right here on the swoosh, you do get that Tiffany Pantone, that 1837 blue, but I'll try to get as close as I can or a picture of it. You can kind of brush the leather, so it kind of feels almost like a nubuck, but it still has that tumbled feature to it. So it's literally the softest leather I've seen in a really long time. On the back right here, you have Nike Air engraved in black. You can lift this part of the heel. You're met with more suede. You see where that leather connects, which is crazy. The fact that you can flip this up is wild. It's like a little pocket. I don't think I could do that with any other Air Force I have. Again, that tumbled leather is crazy. You have leather details right here, and even the leather lace lock. That's a really, again, all these are just really nice details, even though in photos and on feet, it's not like the most in your face, you know? Another little details of leather, you have that leather interior, and then you have the synthetic leather on the sole, and then that platinum Nike Air. And the star of the show is actually this sterling silver piece of jewelry right here. It has like a plastic cover on it. I'm not gonna peel it because he asked me not to, and I'm gonna respect that. On it, you have New York, you have a T, and then you have 925, which is just the purity of the silver that they use. And then right under that symbol, you have Tiffany Co. On the bottom of the sneaker, you do have an all black with little hints of that Tiffany blue. And the last real detail is it feels like a polyurethane tongue right here. So the leather interior only really resides around your heel and ankle area. The whole inside of the shoe has that polyester just like the tongue, and instead of having like Tiffany on one tongue and Nike Air on the other tongue, you just have Tiffany on both. Really like that, and I really understand why Nike or Tiffany Co decided to go this route with the sneaker instead of like, you know, giving us a black with a lot of blue and white, etc., because of the original SBs that released so many years ago. Last thing we can really look at is right here. These are the three lace choices besides the rope. So the ropes are like weaved rope. They're a little bit bigger, they're a little bit softer, and they have metal tips on them. See if I could grab one to show you. It has this like metal tip on it. I'll use that swoosh to show you. The only problem with that is like when you have it tied and you're walking with them, they're gonna weigh it down and they're probably gonna come undone pretty fast. So word of advice, especially if you're paying like $1,000 for these. So you do get a white flat option, a Tiffany flat option, even though it doesn't really seem to go that well with it. And the last one is this yellow. This yellow is supposed to represent a canary yellow diamond that Tiffany has. I think they have the world's largest diamond. Off the top of my head, I don't remember how many carats it is, but it's wild to see because of the company that did the original Tiffany Dunks, the Diamond Supply Co. They actually had a friend and family's version that was all yellow like this. So it's, again, it just solidifies my reasoning for Nike not necessarily wanting to make this seem like a Diamond Supply Co. Air Force One. You know, they tried to keep it as Tiffany & Co. as possible. Since we're on the note of past releases, I guess I can use this opportunity to talk a little bit about those releases. 2006, Pink Box era, I think it was Pink Box era. Nike SB and a company called Diamond Supply Co. They did a pair of shoes called Tiffany's. Now we've seen high tops from them in like 2011. We've seen two lows in the last couple of years. I think it was like, what, 3-4 years ago at this point? And friends and family versions. Nike even released a pair after the original 2006 pair called Un-Tiffany's, where like they had croc print reversed and that teal reversed. And it was pretty on brand. If those would have released today, it would have been a Tiffany & Co. release, except they probably would have had like crazy leather on them or something. And I feel like those collabs existing were like the sole basis of why they decided to like, I don't know, take a pair of Air Force Ones and try to elevate it. An elegant feel, because this shoe almost feels a bit like luxurious. Smell, packaging experience, all of the above. I think that's my honest take on it. And these did receive a lot of hate, but again, all those people that were hating were entering all the raffles. So they were incredibly hard to get. But unlike the two LVMH shoes that we got before them, which were the Louis Vuitton, the 50 Off-Whites, and the Dior Air Jordan 1s and lows, the highs and lows, I feel like these were an attempt to make it a little more accessible to most people. Dior is only released at Dior, either online or in-store raffles. Those I think retailed for around $2,000 to $4,000 per pair. They're going way more than that, but it just goes to show like how high that retail is. And I get that one's like maybe a better collab in most people's eyes because it doesn't look like an average Air Jordan. And then the Louis Vuitton Air Forces were basically backdoored and sent to priority customers at like $2,500 a pair, I think it was. And there were multiple colors of that, but again, the only way of getting it was through Louis Vuitton or knowing like a Nike sales rep or something. So these being in like bodegas, in boutiques, all of the above, makes them feel more accessible, but I just feel like that kind of makes them a little bit more slept on, you know? So I'll admit, $400, if I would have had a chance to buy these, I would have bought these happily. And I know a lot of people would say that because resell's up. But like, let's say these were to brick, I'd still gladly pay that $400 for them. I could say, let's say Nike produced like 500,000 pairs of these and they got the red boot treatment where, you know, they were high initially and then now people are receiving pairs and all of a sudden they're bricked. I'd completely be fine paying retail or a little above retail on these. Now, if we're talking about $1,000 to $900 for a shoe, I'm gonna still say, yeah, I feel like I'd gladly trade or downsize my collection a little bit to kind of own these. I feel like they're a really unique piece, especially since I have such a love for the original Tiffany Nike SBs. I just love the concept and this just plays into that for me. And it makes me wonder that friend and family pair, the one that's kind of like reversed black and teals, if they use that same like nubuckish leather on it, bro, game changing, fantastic. I can't even comprehend owning a pair of those. So that's probably where we're gonna end the review. I can't throw these on feet because they're not my size. And I don't know if he's ever gonna wear them or when he's gonna wear them. Usually big hits like this, he just keeps them on a shelf. Love that man though, absolutely, no question. I'm gonna see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in, thank you for checking me out. If you're new to the channel and you made it this far, might as well sub, you know, I got you with dope potential content coming up. And okay, I'm out, peace.